climate change. Climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns. Such as shifts can be natural due to change in the sun activity or large volcanic eruptions. The root of climate change is the phenomenon known as greenhouse effect. The term scientists use to describe the way that certain atmospheric gases are trapped. Heat that would otherwise radiate upward from the planet's surface into the outer space. On the other hand, we have the greenhouse effect to thank for the presence of life on Earth. Without it, our planet would be cold and unlivable. Right now, atmospheric concentration of the greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide are the highest. They've been in the last 800 years. Some greenhouse gases like hydrofluorocarbons or HFCs do not even exist in nature. By continuously pumping these gases into the air, we help raises the Earth's average temperature about 1.9 degrees Fahrenheit during the 20th century, which has brought us to our current era of deadly and increasingly routine weather extremes. And it's important to note that while climate change affects everyone in some way, it doesn't do so equally. All over the world, people of color and those living in economically disadvantaged or politically marginalized communities bear a much larger burden, despite the fact that these communities play a much smaller role in warming the planet. But while things are moving in the right direction, they're not moving fast enough if we're to keep the Earth's average temperature from rising more than 1.5 degrees Celsius, which scientists say we must do in order to avoid the very worst impact of climate change. We have to take every available opportunity to speed up the shift of fossil fuels to renewables in electricity sectors.
The cars, trucks, ships, and planets that we use to transport ourselves and our goods are major source of global greenhouse gas emission. Burning petroleum-based fuel in combustion engine massively release amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Passengers amount of 41% of those emissions, with the tropical passenger vehicle emitting about 4.6 metric tons of carbon dioxide per year. And the trucks are by far the worst polluters on the road. They are almost consistently largely burn fuel paste, which is when the way to spend accounting for just 4% of the US vehicles. Trucks emit 23% for all greenhouse gases emission for transportation.
Buildings. Unsurprisingly, given how much time we spend inside of them, our buildings, both residential and commercial, emit a lot of greenhouse gases. Heating, cooking, cooling, running appliances, and maintaining other building-wide systems accounted for 13% of US emissions overall in 2022. And even worse, some 30% of energy used in US buildings goes to waste on average.
But the beginning in the mid to late 19th century, human activity began pushing the greenhouse effect to new levels. The result, a planet that's warmer right now than at any other point in human history and getting ever warmer. This global warming has, in turn, dramatically altered natural cycles and weather patterns with impacts that include extreme heat, protracted drought, increased flooding, more intense storms, and rising sea levels. Taken together, these miserable and sometimes deadly effects are what have come to be known as climate change. Our ways of generating power for electricity, heat, and transportation, our built environment and industries, our ways of interacting with the land, and our consumption habits together serve as the primary drivers of climate change. While the percentage of greenhouse gases emitting from each source may fluctuate, the sources themselves remain relatively consistent.
Here's a rough breakdown of the factors that are driving climate change. Natural cause of climate change, human-driven cause of climate change. Transportation, electricity generation, industry and manufacturing, agriculture, oil and gas development, buildings. Deforestation or lifestyle choice, natural cause of climate change. Some amount of climate change can be attributed to natural phenomena. Over the course of Earth's existence, volcanic eruption, fluctuations and solar radiation, tectonic shifts, and even small change in our orbit have all had observable effects on planetary warming and cooling patterns.
A pipe sticks out of a hole in the ground in the center of white. It's surrounded by crude fencing and decades old. Black in the abandoned oil well at a cattle ranch in Green County, Texas in June 2021. When it was found to be leaking bright water created Matthew Bush, Bloomberg's fugitive image, oil and gas. Development oil and gas led to emissions at every stage of their production and consumption, not only when they are burned as fuel but just as soon as we drill a hole in the ground to begin extracting them. Fossil fuel development is a major source of methane which invariably takes from oil and gas operations, drilling, fracking, transporting, and refining. And while methane is as prevalent in greenhouse gas as carbon dioxide, it's a many times more potent and trapping heat during the first 20 years of its release in the atmosphere. Even abandoned and imperative wells, sometimes known as urban wells, lake maintain more than 3 million of these old. The fact with us our wells are spread across the country and were responsible for emitting more than 280,000 metric tons of methane in 2018.
But climate change are able to show that today's global warming, particularly what has occurred since the start of the industrial and revolution is happening much faster than ever before. According to NASA, there's natural cases are still in play today, but their influence is too small. They influence is too occur too slow to influence rapid warning seen in recent decades, and the record refers misinformation that natural cases are the main culprits behind climate change, as some in the fossil fuel introduced and consider this tank would like us to believe.
If our activity has brought us to this dangerous point in human history, breaking old patterns can help us find a way